Hey guys, it's Ben. It is Wednesday. Um, I'm excited to tell you guys that tonight around 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, on go to YouTube for Crowdfunding Comics channel with Billy Tucci and the gang. They're gonna be promoting a big comic book coming up, and in sort of a in their segment for creator callouts, Outlaw Knights is going to be featured, which I am very happy about. I'm very excited about. Good stuff. As of right now, we've got 10 days left on the campaign. Be sure to go to Indiegogo.com, check out Outlaw Knights. I promise you, you will not regret it. Yeah. So, yeah, I think for today, I've been thinking a lot about. See, I'm kind of torn right now. I cannot decide whether or not getting Death Stranding is worth it. I will tell you that for the most part, when it comes to video game news, I don't like to go digging too deeply. I know that sounds stupid, but I feel like for the most part, the concept of video game news is pretty stupid. So, but I mostly listen when people start, when it starts becoming loud enough. And I checked out, some of the quote controversy surrounding Death Stranding. So far, none of it's what I would call offensive. I would say it's more like just kind of annoying. This whole business of having to interject more of the Orange Man bad sentiment into the video game world. It's like, yeah, because we haven't seen enough of that, right? But I think more than anything, the thing that's got me in this state of feeling kind of in doubt of wanting to buy it. Number one, the fact that half the audience is saying that it's boring. That bothers me. And the fact that the other half is leaning on this argument, which I've heard used for things like Rick and Morty and all. I was a fan of Rick and Morty for the first 2 or 3 seasons. No, it was for the first 2 seasons I was a fan of Rick and Morty. And I think at the beginning of the 3rd season I kind of lost interest. But it's this notion of, the contingent that always comes out and says, well, if you thought it was boring, or you thought it was this or that, you're just not smart enough to understand it. We're smart enough. We're smart people. We get it. It's that bullshit, just what we need in a community that was essentially defined by being, considered the outcasts of, the mainstream social society, what have you. Video games was founded on being nerdy, about being undesirable in society. And now we've gone from that to being complete elitists. That shit is what drives me nuts. I cannot stand this horseshit attitude. It's like, if they thought it was stupid or boring or whatever, how is that affecting the game, number one? And how is that affecting your experience with the game? That's what I want to know. Like, why is it that every time you know, I can understand wanting to like mess around with with each other on the internet and being like, oh yeah, I thought it was stupid. Oh well, I think you're stupid. You know, like whatever. That's nothing. But like, it's the fact that people get so adamant and so passionate about defending it. I like a lot of games that a lot of people think are stupid or pointless or whatever. Like, I love Final Fantasy. A lot of video gamers out there hate Final Fantasy. They think it's boring. They think it's too melodramatic. They think it's too whatever. And it's like, I don't feel the need to chase these people down. You know? Like, I can enjoy this without everybody having to enjoy it. And that's how I feel about that whole stance. It's like, keep your mouth shut when it comes to that stupid, you know, holier than thou, I'm better with video games than you are attitude. It's just so annoying, you know? Very annoying. But, you know, it's that stuff combined with the fact that most of the footage I've seen from Death Stranding hasn't really, it doesn't pique my interest. And I have kind of, I guess, you know, I would say a lot of my issues with it are kind of cosmetic, but it's like my OCD won't let me get past it. I'm basically, I'm in a state where it's like, so far all the footage I'm seeing is like the main character, number one, carrying like all this, like carrying so much luggage on his back. My whole thought is, how's this guy walking around with all this crap on his back? And then, you know, I haven't seen any actual combat or anything like that. And from what I was reading about the synopsis, or at least, you know, the premise, it's that Kojima level of convolutedness that it's like Kojima, he works well when people kind of rein him in. Like, I felt like the first Metal Gear Solid was just, well, for lack of a better word, it was solid. Metal Gear Solid 2 was kind of stupid. Metal Gear Solid 3 was awesome. Metal Gear Solid 4, it was like the Pirates of the Caribbean 3 of video games for me, where it was like just constantly adding on layers that we didn't need because they didn't really have that significant of a payoff, and then just getting so convoluted and so up your own butt with your own lore. And it's funny, like, you know, that's how I felt about 4. Then when 5 came out, I loved 5. I thought it was great, albeit there were parts of it I wish that they had toned down. But I mean, Hideo Kojima, you know, you give him free reign, he's gonna go all over the frickin' place. He's gonna add vampires and you know, people whose abilities are based on luck, and try to make it kind of realistic by throwing it back to nano machines. But yeah, so it's like, on the one hand, there's a good bit of Death Stranding that I find really cool looking. I also love Norman Reedus. You know, I like Norman Reedus enough to where I'd like to see him in a video game. So, you know, I'm on the fence, but being on the fence and having as little money as I do, that usually means I'm not gonna get it, at least for a good while. Yeah. Just enough already with the elitism in everything. Enough already. It's exhausting. And it's so unnecessary. That's my spiel for today. If you like anything I have to say, go ahead, hit the like button. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Be sure to click on the link in the description of this video to check out Outlaw Nights. You will not regret that you did. And as always, I will talk to you tomorrow.